Want to come in? Yeah. I should actually not sit here.
Okay, so how many of you are actually using Authentisign?
We're gonna start today.
We're gonna start today. Has anyone tried or attempted to play with it a bit? I have. Very good. All right. I'm gonna basically, the most confusing part of Authentisign, and for those of you that have actually attempted to access it, is the transaction part. Okay. Treb introduced Authentisign. It's great. It's free with what we pay Treb. So let's say it is free. It's a great service. It is powered by Lone Wolf, and Lone Wolf, as many of you are aware, and for others they're not, is an actual software for accounting known in real estate. Okay. Ultimately, their goal is to bring all brokerages in future to actually be able to create through web forms a signing package and also a transaction package linked to Lone Wolf. Right now, for our brokerage and many others, we're not concentrating on that. Everyone has their own internal program. They work with their software. What this course will walk you through is, okay, great, we have something created in web forms. We can download it or link our web forms to Authentisign and then automatically send it to our clients for signing. Once we get it, again, we can download it, resend it out. That is the purpose. It makes our life easier as realtors. If we have a client in Whitby and we're sitting in Richmond Hill and it's maybe a lease or even a buy, it just a day like this, no one can meet. Well, what better, tool than to have an online electronic signature program handy? Okay, so I'm going to start by telling everyone you can only access Authentisign through MLS. If you want to access Authentisign as a separate app, there's some circumstances. First one, you have to have an iPhone. It is only compatible with iPhone. They are working on having it compatible with Androids, but right now, iPhone. Okay? Further to that, if you wanted to operate as a separate app on your phone, you must pay $69 a year. So when it is free and offered by Treb, it is, of course, obvious that you will be utilizing Authentisign via your Treb web, your MLS forms, okay? If you want to utilize Authentisign as a single electronic program on your phone as an app or on your desktop, that has a separate cost, whether you have an iPhone, an Android, or laptop, okay? So, again, introduced by Treb, we access it through Treb. How many of you don't type offers through web forms? What do you use? Yeah. Thank you, Mike. But what I'm saying is, once you get that offer back that has been typed kindly by the office, you can easily upload it onto Authentisign, and I'll show you both ways by just uploading it through your MLS account. So you access MLS, you click on Authentisign, and you move forward. I didn't ask anyone to bring laptops because what you really need to know today and be able to see what the process is. If I would have had you bring your laptops, you would have been busy following me. Let's take it step by step. However, I'm open for anyone to come with questions, to call me, and also practice with me. I've done it in other offices, so now I'm actually purchasing 2 to 3 properties daily, right? So agents do send me their offers. Okay, we're just gonna make this little, okay? We're going to. Everybody see the screen if you want. I can dim the lights. I can dim the lights, yeah. We're getting a new projector as well today, so I was hoping that it was going to come in earlier, but it didn't. All right, so currently, I'm just going to hide this. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, so our first step is to log on to MLS. Okay, and I'm sure everyone knows how to do that, right, Mike? I see this part, right? So, yes. You can do it if you log on to MLS. Log on to MLS, okay? There we go. We have our home page, and this is perfect. Now, do you really want to place initials and signatures from your phone? Really, it's an emergency, right? Because other than that, these are friendly with tablets, I would say would be your smallest screen, to your actual desktop computer of your laptop, okay? So,
So
again,
hold on, you're saying you wouldn't get signatures on the phone?
I would have my client accept signatures. I wouldn't be placing signatures as a realtor from my cell phone. You miss things,
Yeah.
okay? Sometimes when you're trying to, the resolution is not great in terms of size, so you're getting all confused. You have to
Yeah.
scroll maybe the offer left to right. Just the phone, whether it's Authentisign or any other electronic program, is never suggested for actually placing signatures and going through documents. As a client receiving it, that's actually fantastic because all I do is click my screen, right? I know what my realtor is sending me. We've already discussed it. I'll just read it quickly and tap where is required. But when I'm actually dealing with the offer, I'm the realtor submitting that document to you. I won't be able to do all this efficiently from the screen of a cell phone. Okay? Again, the app is available. I just want to make it clear. It is available to all realtors and even not realtors, but with a $69 a year. If it will remain free to us, which it is, it can only be accessed via MLS. Okay? So, right now, this is our home page. We've logged on to MLS. This is our home page. And I go to this tab over here to the right, Instanet Authentisign. See it? Everyone see it?
Yeah.
I click on that, and it will automatically redirect me to Authentisign. I will show you a first part of Authentisign like this, okay? And then I will show you how from your web forms, and that's the final part, you can actually link it to Authentisign, okay? If you want to link your web forms, thank you. Sorry, that Gregory has his secrets. If you do want to link web forms to Authentisign, you have to call Authentisign. They will provide you with a PIN number, and automatically when you're attempting to link, you add in that PIN, okay? Before we were able to link our web forms to any electronic program that was available to us through Trev, that's not allowed anymore, okay? So right now, we're on a main dashboard of Authentisign. So you log on to MLS, you're on your main dashboard, okay? I'm gonna bring us quickly back to our homepage. So here that we, yes,
Sorry, can you get the screen brighter? It's so difficult to.
unfortunately
That's
not,
it?
unfortunately, yes, we've turned down
The
the
new
light.
projector is on the way.
Yes, I
Yeah, but
can.
you-
This is the largest I can go, and this is actually the full screen, right? You guys can all move up. I would
No.
suggest,
Go sit beside me. No, I don't want that. I'm
What?
comfortable.
no, please, I invite everyone that's having difficulty viewing to please move up. The letters, well,
It's very large.
this is the font. Like if I start enlarging it, then some tools are gonna be out of the screen, right?
First time you go on DocuSign, they ask you to accept something.
Right, you have to accept the disclosure, and then it runs a JavaScript, which is a security feature. You have to think, there's a great security system behind Authentisign, just because you do have options in there to upload your contacts, to keep transaction documents. That is confidential information. So every time you're going on to the Authentisign page, which again, I can show you quickly, okay? I can close this right now. I just want to move this. Down here. So every time you go onto your Authentisign page and you close it, I just closed it, okay? Back onto my home page, I click on Authentisign. It will run a JavaScript. So it'll give me that loading. But every time you access it for the first time in that day, you'll always get checking cookies, running JavaScript. That's a security feature, okay?
But when it says like subscription and everything.
That's a one-time.
That is free.
It's free. It's free because you're accessing it through MLS. If it wasn't free to you, you wouldn't be able to even access it, right? That's when you have to purchase the app. Okay? So I'm just gonna bring us back to our homepage. Okay, we're on our homepage. We have to type an offer. I'll take it from web forms first, and then I'll show you how you can download it so it'll combine both scenarios. okay? Right now, I'm going on to web forms, okay? And it's gonna open my transaction kits, but it is slow, right? So here it is. I have my transaction kits, they're here, okay? And I'm gonna start working on my offer. So this is if I'm working from web forms, I work on my offer. This is the offer I would like to send out, okay? And it's over here. I'm going to open my transaction kit, okay? And of course I have my agreement to lease, my confirmation of cooperation, everything that requires to be sent out for signatures, okay? So if you go to this little part here, which everyone has on their web forms, okay? You can click go to App Store. I'm gonna show you this one time, but we can't link it. Each one of you has to contact Authentisign to have their web forms linked. But if you click on go to App Store over here, these are all programs that are secured and offered, not free of charge, from TREB. So there's Secure Share, Authentisign, which is free to us. Then you have EZSign and DocuSign. Now, how many of you are coming from DocuSign? That's $159 a year. Authentisign is free of charge. EZSign is $149 a year. And Secure Share is on or about that same price, okay? If you want to link your Authentisign to the web forms, you would have to call Authentisign, have them provide you with a PIN, and then when you click on link, it would ask you first name, last name, password that Authentisign will provide you. Okay? Anyone got that?
Basically, that's for the app, for the
That's
app.
for if you want your web forms to link automatically, so that when you
Okay.
do an offer, you don't have to download it, you send it straight to Authentisign. Okay? Reason why you would do something like this is you go back here, okay? And if you had your web forms linked, you would be able to see how you see print, email, download, duplicate. You would have a tab that says send to. So automatically you've completed your offer on web forms. You can send it to Authentisign and start working on it. Okay? Because we don't have it linked, right now I am going to download what I need. Okay? So I'm going to download. And this is also good for who has offers typed for them and they get emailed to them. They're saved on a computer, on a desktop, and they're able to upload it into Authentisign, okay? So right now, I'm going to take one document that I require, just for the purpose of the signature, okay? Usually you would require all of them. I'm gonna make it easier. We're gonna work on one that is gonna have enough initials. We're gonna take it like that, okay? So we're gonna always download read-only because we're not sending editable copies to clients, and I'm in the hopes that anyone that works off of web forms always works with read-only, okay? So I'm going to download my file. The same way I would download it if it was coming from, thank you, okay? My downloads, there it is, okay? Same way if I was taking it from my email, I would download it and save it. So right now, whether I took it from web forms or I'm taking it from my email, I will save this file, okay? I'm gonna save it on my desktop so it makes it easier for myself. And of course it takes time. There we go. I'll put it on my desktop. I'll name it agreement to lease, and I've saved it, okay? So right now, I have saved my document. Either whether I had it emailed to me or I had it on web forms, I've saved my document on my desktop, okay? Now this document is ready to be sent to my clients. So again, I'm already on my home page. I will go to my Authentisign, okay? And here, this is where everyone gets confused because we come to a home page where we have transaction desk. Again, a signing package is not a transaction, okay? Transaction is an actual deal to be processed. For this terminology, it's not a signing package. Transaction is an actual transaction, a deal that has been completed, all signed, and that needs to be processed and finalized, okay? The one point you're going to concentrate on is this little pen to your left, or this nice little tab here that says Start Signing. Everyone see that? If I click on Start Signing, automatically it will ask me for a signing name, okay? So usually the signing name of your package, and it's always suggested to call it the name of the property that you are dealing with, okay? Even if you have a yucky client, don't write in there jerk's offer, because when he gets it, he's gonna get the email Celeste sent jerk offer a signing package, okay? You name it the address that you're dealing with, okay? So let's say we're dealing with 123 Smith Street, it's 123 Smith Street. We're dealing with 8854 Young Street, it's 8854 Young Street. It will also help you when you're in the process of waiting for it to come back signed to find it, because over time you will have many packages in your database, okay? So right now we're gonna call it Richmond Hill Test, okay? Just so that we know what we've done with it, okay? So now I've called it Richmond Hill Test. I've given it a name and it has redirected me to another page. This page here has 4 steps and they all need to be completed in a certain order or you will not be able to send out the document and it will always come out that some part of it is missing, okay? So right now, step 1 is over here, okay? I've given the signing name, participant order. You have 2 options here. Trev leaves the standard one that you see, which is sign in line. Signing participants sign in order, which means as we add them, in the order we add them is the order they will sign. So if me, Celeste, is a realtor, and Fatty, you want to sign first, you put yourself first in, okay? If you know that Anne has to sign first, Fatty has to sign second, and Celeste has to sign third, you're going to add Anne first, Fatty second, Celeste third. Okay. Reason being is because there are scenarios, and we've had them, where husband won't sign if wife won't sign first, right? Or vice versa. We save ourselves a lot of time by doing this. We add the husband and then the wife, yes.
But as a realtor, I have to sign in first, right?
You should technically do that. It is mandatory, I would say that. Let's say mandatory that the realtor does acknowledge the document first, does accept the commission trust agreement, and that the client is aware of what that agent between, by confirmation of cooperation and an actual insurance agreement, what that realtor is representing as well. However, if it is a quick thing and it needs to be done, you can send it to your clients first, okay? You will sign it after they sign it. You'll put everyone in one package. Yes.
So you gotta make sure that, for example, like the husband and wife, that they actually both home or wherever they are together to sign. Right?
That they have access to
Separately.
an
So-
email.
Right,
You
right.
can't use one email for 2 clients.
Okay, right, so if one's in a meeting.
Right.
Right, so you gotta know who can sign first and second.
Technically, that's something you would discuss again with your clients. I'll give you an example and we're getting to that. I'll get to that answer. I'll show you now.
So on this system, you can't, like in DocuSign, you can't have one email with 2 passwords.
Absolutely not. You can't add 2 people with 1 email because Authentisign, just like DocuSign, it's the same thing, will set an IP address for everything. These are programs that are RICO and TREB compliant. It means that when that person is accepting the initial disclosure, it's time-stamped and IP stamped. When that person is actually finalizing the document, not only will the document be stamped with a serial number, again, an IP, each signer will be able, in the event something happens down the road, you'll be able to see where each signer was signing from with an IP address with that information, no one can say I didn't sign that document. So to avoid the confusion of one email for two people, they just don't allow it.
Have two emails that use the same computer, so.
That's correct. Again, you'll have a different timestamp with a different, let's say, initial in the IP address. You'll see, because I will show you what it's going to look like, okay? You'll see a signing history, and whoever's on DocuSign is already able to see that. You're already able to see that. Same thing here. This is just very similar, just a matter of practice, okay? So you have your two options: to sign participants' orders, so as you put them in, that's how they sign, or first comes, first serves. It means it's irrelevant. The first one who picks it up will sign it. Now, how many of you do like operating that way? I don't. Personally, it's good to keep track of who's signing. And it's good to know that one party will not sign unless the other signs, or I'm signing first and then it's off to them, okay? I always suggest, again, that it becomes entirely up to you and based on the scenario, that you do keep the sign in line. Okay? Now, again, they're thinking here in terms of transactions, accept counteroffer. We are realtors representing one party. We will not add listing agent's name. Let's say we're representing our buyers. We're not adding the listing agent and their clients to have this document signed as well. We're doing our end. Once our document is signed, we download it and email it, fax it to the realtor. We will not accept counter offers or any of these things because we're not dealing with another party that will electronically be able to send it to us through our account as a counter offer. So again, they're thinking on a larger scale of transactions. They're thinking of a larger scale of everyone kind of working on this software mutually. We have to do our part. And our signing package does not have a counter offer accept. Okay? So this part here, again, first comes, first serves. Who's comfortable using it, great. Accept counter offer is never used. Okay? And again, how many of you are going to send off the offer to a listing agent and their clients? I've never heard of that, right? There has been cases, it's wrong. We represent our clients. And if the realtor doesn't have an electronic method, well, too bad. Get in your car and get it done. Okay? Right. No, it is a fact. Again, you have your advanced options, Jane. So we're going to go to where you were asking. Okay? Try to bring the screen down a bit. Okay. All right. So do not set an expiration date. This is an advanced option. So let's say you're telling your clients, okay, you know what? We have until 5 o'clock today to sign an offer, take or leave. I'm going to send it to you. It's either done by that time or it's not. So you could set here by clicking on this, the signing to expire on, which means you send them the package. Okay. Sorry?
No, it's not irrevocable. That's what
It's
I was
not.
thinking too.
Right.
That's not irrevocable.
That's not. You could use it for your irrevocable. You could. But the signing package in itself could expire by a certain time. Okay? Now, whether you want to use your irrevocable for that purpose, that's fine. Again,
So what happens? Sorry,
just the signing
because
package.
you know what, I'm with Ann, because we're like that
Right.
old way of doing things. So you set an expiry time.
Right.
What happens at that expiry?
If
The
it's not
document-
signed,
the document goes poof.
The document stays as an unprocessed document in the system, but that client will no longer have access to it after that time.
Okay.
So
But what
can
if
you
you're
refresh
on-
it?
That's
You
what-
can.
That's what
But
Celeste
what if
is
your
saying.
offer says 10 o'clock at night and this expires to 5?
Well, this doesn't, unless you put it in.
Yeah, you don't.
Unless you
or
manually
don't
put it in.
or Put it in after the irrevocable.
So if your offer expires at 10 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
and you're speaking to your client, and your client says, okay, I'll be home at 6 o'clock. I'll sign it at 6 o'clock. Why would you set an expiry date? You're going to follow up with your client at 6:30 and say, hey, I haven't received it. Or what you can do is, here we are, send a reminder in 4 hours.
I like that.
You see? So you're sending them the offer at 10 a.m. The client calls you and says, hey, I'm back to back in meetings. I won't be done until 4. Well, it's 10 o'clock. In 4 hours from now or 6 hours from now, You'll remind your client through another email, this document is waiting for you to be signed. And that's when you can set the reminder. You can set it for 4 hours, for 8 hours, for 12 hours. You
So-
can,
So the agent will get that reminder or the client?
the client,
Client.
client, it's always the client. So once you set your, you put your name, the name of the package, the property address, that's fine. You add what your participants are going to be signing. Will they be signing first comes, first serves, or will you be giving them an order based on how you will be putting them in? Then you have these advanced options, which bring you down to set an expiration date. If there is a need to do so, you would. Again, do not set comes up as a standard. Reminders. Are you going to send a reminder for a client that won't be able to sign it at the moment you but maybe in 6 hours, and so in hours you want your to do that. I am that your here. Yeah, standard, right? Okay. But usually, yeah, those are standards 4, 8, 12, and they go all the way to 36, right? So a day and a half. Okay. So again, we're off to step 2 because we've completed step 1. You see the check mark? We've completed step 1. So we're off to step 2. Okay. Step 2 is our participant. Here we have 3 options. Okay. Add new participant, which is the most used tab of this whole signing package, okay? Reason being is because you're gonna have to manually add your client. Why? You do have the option to add your client from the contact, right? So you would create a contact list in Authentisign, but what if your client says, Celeste, send it to me, but to my personal email, not my work email? You're going to be caught up in getting the document ready and everything. And when you click on add from contacts, you'll add Sandra. But Sandra didn't ask you for that email, so then you've got to make the change. It is always best to just add the new participant. And even when you have the option to add yourself, be very careful because you have to remember this is offered by TREB. Many of you have a TREB email address that's in the TREB system, but no one uses it, right? So when you're adding yourself, it will generate the information that TREB has. And that unfortunately, it shouldn't be like that. But sometimes it is where there's that TREBnet email address. Oh, I haven't opened it in ages, or I never use it. That's what will come up. So again, add new participant makes everyone's life easier. Why? If I click on add new participant, it will ask me 3 mandatory boxes to be filled. First name, last name, email address. First and last name, of course, they're as per offer. On the offer when you're buying, you're not putting Celeste Panza from Richmond Hill, born in Italy, but no, they don't care. On the offer, you're going to put the purchaser's name or the seller's name as per title or as per purchasers that potentially will be taking over that title. Okay, so what they need is first and last name, legal, and email address. Okay, so I'm going to start to put my name in as the realtor. So I will put myself in as the realtor first, and I'll add a client with another name, with another email. Okay, so here I am putting myself in first because I want to sign the offer first. Okay,
The middle box is for initial.
right. It's,
And for the middle name, what would you do?
you can just leave the initial. Or you put first and second, first and middle in the
And
first box. Again, because it will come out with a format the way you add it. That middle box, unless there's really a name that just has an initial, okay, I have a middle name. I am Celeste Laura, really, in case anyone didn't know. And if I'm signing a legal document, I will just put in the first box Celeste Laura, okay? When it comes up in the offer, it will come up Celeste Laura and then my last name, okay? This middle box here for initials, Again, you could put Celeste, if I had the initial, just only the initial, I could do that. Okay? So again, I'm going to use my email. And I'm going to put my email as a realtor. Okay? This is a very simple step. I've added my first name, my last name, my email. Easier than this, really, it can't get. Okay? But again, I have to add myself in again. Myself, I mean a client. Okay? So once I've added what I'm looking for, I checked the email address, spelling is correct, I can just click on add or add another.
What's the difference between both?
Add another will redirect you directly to that. If I close this here and I go back on myself and I just put save participant, it will close me like this, and then I have to click here. From that same page, I can add as many clients and names I like. It'll just refresh it and automatically store it. Again, these are little steps that save you time. Okay?
I'm sorry, and Ann just shot me a look back when you said save thing. We're so old school.
Get in your car and see them.
Not true, Ed. Once you start using them,
We've had it watched.
right.
Yeah.
Once you start using it and really it's a matter of habit, it actually, you can't revert back. It almost becomes a bad habit because that's how you want to do it, right?
But when the offers come in so low, and if you are the listing agent, and see, that's what we've discussed with our clients. There is no good. They don't want to talk to you on the phone. They have a whole-
And that is, again, that has nothing to do, okay, so as realtors, all of us,
It's face to face.
we have tools which we can pick and choose based on our diligence and our ethical performance on how to utilize. If I know that my seller does not want to deal with this at all, or is having a low ball offer and his home's been on the market 70 days, well, I'm not going to say to him, hey, listen, it's low, but let's discuss over the phone and then I'll send you an Authentisign. That's up to me. That's my own diligence as a realtor to understand my client. What my goal today is to allow you to have this tool. And then once you practice with it,
And if I can add, sorry.
Yes.
Because you know what, it is an incredible tool. And any of us that have been in the industry quite some time, that we are used to getting in the car, going
which is
somewhere.
always great, and it's
But
always
there were
suggested.
also times though that we had to wait for faxes because our clients were in Florida, or we had to drive. I mean, I had to drive to Cobacont one time. This is great to avoid that.
That's right.
Like, this is a really good tool that I personally wish that we had.
I
So
find
it
the
is, it's an
buyers.
excellent tool.
The buyer agents. are
Yes.
using this.
Cool, because that's the easiest part for them. You'll find that you'll use it more with your buyers and your tenants than with your sellers. Unless you're amending maybe a listing agreement and you've had a discussion with them, even that I find hard. In this market, the sellers want to see you. They want to hear from you. You're their therapist, you're their psychologist. You tell them how to eat, dress, because they want to hear it from you,
We're
okay?
paying you.
Right,
So they wanna-
right, and so that's a mindset. When it comes to buyers, they're like, sure, shoot me the offer, $100,000 less and just send it to me. I don't even have time to waste. If it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
You're going to be using this for the most part with purchasers and tenants. Now, hopefully we'll revert back to the seller saying, hey, just drop it in 100,000 over asking and I'll sign it off, okay? But for now, either way, even for your own personal use, I'll tell you this. Let's say you have to sign a document. This is personal. Trev has no access to it. It's a third-party software. Trev offers it. They've come to an agreement. But your information here is stored safely. And if you want to electronically sign your trade record, your deal is closing. You're missing a trade record. Oh, but I was sure I had, but now I don't have a printer. What am I going to do? Well, it was emailed to you. Download it from your email, upload it, put your name in, sign your trade. You can use it for anything. It's a matter of how you want to look at it. Okay? And it's a great tool. And, you know, today, the new generation especially, and I'm excluding myself because I'm not techy at all. I just love this, so I really got into it. Okay? But the new generation, even if you're going to someone in university, hey, let's meet at my office. They're like, no, I got to go to Starbucks. Like, right? And they'll say, send it to my email. That's the truth. So let's be open to any form of scenario, and then it's up to us ultimately who we want to deal with. Okay? So again, I'm going to add another participant. Okay, so I'm gonna call my client John Smith. Okay, John Smith. I'm gonna put another email address. Okay. Because that's the email address John has given me. So again, I don't have a problem. All the information we see over there, you see over there, remote signer, in-person signer, reviewer, copy only. Remote signer allows him or her, your client, to sign remotely. Okay? If you put an in-person signer, what will happen is your client will receive the document indicating where signatures are required, but not able to sign it electronically. So please don't ever change that standard part over there. Unless you're saying, hey, I'm gonna send it to you. Jane signed it, but you know what, Ann? Me and you are gonna have to discuss, I'm coming over. It's gonna flip right to that person, but then you'll still need a printer because you put an in-person signer, okay? Reviewer, if you're sending it only to be reviewed, again, if they're only reviewing where initials are required or where they have been placed, that's a reviewer only. Good scenario, good case would be maybe a power of attorney. Okay, where you have the option to allow to review or CC. They have no signing authority. Let's say in this case they wouldn't. Maybe they have a trustee. Okay, that's when you would ask for review. Or another good example is corporation. The one person that's authorized to bind is John Smith. But if you want all the shareholders or all the members of that corporation to be aware, that's a great tool. Reviewer or CC only. You can add in that email and they're able to review.
So what if the offer then is, for example, a numbered company?
Right.
So if you put in a numbered company, then you don't.
But
have
even
to
in that
know
numbered
that
company,
contact.
there's always going to be someone that's authorized to bind.
Right,
Right. So the numbered company would be the name there.
would
Who-
be instead of like John Smith. you
Right.
put in the
You
numbered
would put
company.
the number and ink,
Okay,
right? And then you would put the email.
right,
Who is signing that? Who is authorized to bind it?
right, so let's use that John Smith then. So
Right.
how do we do that then?
So if you have, is that incorporation going to stamp as an incorporation on the acceptance? No initials. No. You're gonna need an authorized person to bind, right?
Right.
So that first name and last name is the person authorized to bind.
Um,
That
so don't put in the
number,
numbered company.
no, that ink numbered company that you have over there can be a reviewer. You have an email address you want to send it to, the company can see it. But you're always going to address the signature to who is authorized to initial and bind, right? Because how are you going to initial a numbered company? It has no, it's not valid. Let's leave it at that. It's not valid. That's not how we sign. Even when we have an incorporation sign, they don't sign 9556783 Inc. It's an authorized person to bind. Where will you find that? Just out of topic, articles of incorporation, which are always mandatory when we're doing a deal with corporations, except for leases. Okay, just give a little update. So once you add this person, you have an option to save to contacts as well. So that's where you start creating your database, okay, with all your contacts, so that when you deal with them maybe a second time, once you start typing the name, it populates, okay? Or you can do private email. You could send a private email to this person stating, you know, hi, please sign first or your wife won't sign, or please sign, you know, you could separate that whole email, having the same package go to two people and adding a private email, okay? All these other tabs here, role, company, address, city, it is not needed for this type of transaction, okay? Again, it's a signing package. We're not creating a deal. When you've done your deal, you would either email it to your office administrator, print it, leave it with your office administrator. We are fully serviced. We don't let the agents create their own transactions and do their own deals. You have that comfort. So that part there, what we concentrate on is first name, last name, email. Okay? So I'm going to add John Smith. Now, I go to step 3, which is the documents. Now, how many of you are using DocuSign? It doesn't give you all these options, okay? Authentisign has select from forms because it does have a feature that I will show you at the end after that, where you can create your own transaction kit from those forms, which are CREA forms, okay? And they are updated. Again, if we're using MLS, defeats the purpose of using the transaction forms in Authentisign, okay? Select from transaction and DocBox documents.
Just one question to back up. Can you reorganize, once you've got your participants, can you reorganize them later like you can in DocuSign?
Oh, yes, look, I'll show you. Right?
Or you just move them there,
You can move them.
just like drag and drop?
Hi, is there a Corrado in here?
Corrado?
No, right?
What was the motor? What do you know?
All right, so see these little
Oh, yeah.
1 and 2s? So now I'm back to 1, John is back to 2. If I realize that, again, I prefer John first, then I do this. Okay? With DocuSign, you can actually pick it and drag it.
Right.
You move them around. Okay? Again, we're going back to step 3, documents. Everyone on the same page? Okay. So it gives you a variety of options as to where you can grab your document from. Okay? If you would have linked it from web forms, it would have already been in, and you would have just been completing step 1, 2, and 4. Because we're going to manually upload it, it gives us these options. Okay? So in this case, we don't have our computer linked to sending fax. I'm not sure if anyone uses this feature. However, nowadays you can actually type an email and send it by fax from your laptop. Okay? Upload by email. If it's in your email, it would also be maybe in your Google Drive if you have it. It could be in your print driver. There's so many apps that are now utilized. Dropbox, OneDrive, that it depends on what you use and where you put your documents. That's where you're going to pick them up. Personally, I've saved it on the desktop, make my life easy. Click on upload file, go to my desktop, and I will find the agreement to lease right there. So I'm going to pick up this document and it's loading it. I can upload as many documents as I require. So if I had the confirmation of cooperation, again, I would click on add and add it. If we're working from web forms, and web forms will link these documents in automatically, but then we notice that there's a schedule on the listing that I haven't worked on from web forms. Again, I would download the schedule from MLS like we did, click on add, and upload a file. Okay? Yes.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
What I do with web forms is then I create a folder on my documents,
Desktop, yes.
call it whatever, and make all these PDFs.
Right.
Now, can I upload a PDF to this?
Yes, you can. That's what I
That's
just
what you
did.
just did.
I saved it as an Adobe, a PDF,
Okay.
and I uploaded it. I'll show you
Perfect,
again.
yeah.
Click on add, upload a file. So let's say this was my folder on my desktop. Here it is,
Okay, got it.
right? If it was coming from web forms, it would come in as an electronic document. But when it's completed signing, it will give me again the option to download it as a PDF. Okay? So I'm going to close this. I've added my document. So again, step 1, the details of the signing package. I've named it. Okay? Step 2, my participants. I put my participants in the order with the information that I want them to sign in. Step 3, I've uploaded my document. Step 4, the design. And this is the fun part. Okay? This is the fun part. So here's our document. Okay, nice and fresh. And we're signing it. We're ready to have our client sign it. We're going to sign it ourselves. Okay? So I spoke to my client. My client said, hey, Celeste, I want to put an offer for $1,900 on that property. And I say, okay, it's a little bit low. Think about it. But after I've done all this, my client calls me and says, hey, you know what, Celeste? Let's go for $2,000. I've already done all this work. How am I going to do this now? Right? So you see these little tabs here to the side? Right here in the top? Right now, the first part here is I can pick who's signing. So whose initial and signature am I going to place? Is it Celeste or is it John? Okay, if I want John, I do John. If I want Celeste, it's Celeste. Okay? Then we have this tab over here, drag and drop. I click on drag and drop. Wow, it gives me a lot of options. Okay? I'm not going to confuse anyone. Okay? These are really advanced features, considering that the only thing we need is either an initial or a signature. I'm not going to be marking and then putting an initial for my client. If I'm highlighting where he needs to initial or she needs to initial, that's the way they're getting it highlighted. All these other nice features, signing optional. Who's going to send a client their signature and say, hey, you know what, read it if you like it, sign it, or I'll send it back and, we'll have a copy later. No, signing option doesn't make sense. However, it's there, right? Then we have initial here. That's a feature we will need. Initial optional? No. Okay? Initial group? No. There's no group initials. At least in our field, very rare that we have a group initial. Okay? So again, this could be good for any form of other document. Okay? These are X's. Look what they do. X. X. Well, after I've highlighted where you need to sign and I position your signature, sure, I'm going to add an X on there. So we're already all confused. I'm just going to make my life worse. Okay? Good to know what they do. How much you will be utilizing them? 0. We're concentrating on sign and initial. Now, you see over here, signer name. Sometimes what happens when we work on web forms or any other document, we could miss to have typed the signer's name, or it won't generate. How many times has someone typed an offer on MLS and then when they've downloaded it, they're missing a name or they're missing information that they put in, right? This is a good example. So let's say I was buying the property and I go look and it's like, oh, that's not complete. I'm missing the name. I can bring the signer's name right there. Or on that Schedule B that I've uploaded that is blank and only has the seller's name, I can add my client's name on it. Okay? I'm going to remove that. Then we have initial pages. How many of you have done pre-construction deals? There is 50 pages if we're lucky, with a whole bunch of amendments, X, Y, W, Z. Now we're all happy family. And each page has to be initialed, okay? So could you imagine uploading 60 pages and dragging the initial on each? We would make our life easier by clicking initial pages. I'm not going to do it because it will. But, okay, I'll do it. So, where do we want these initials? Top of document, to the left, bottom of document, align center, align right. Let's say I want Celeste, and I want it to bottom of document, align center, which usually that's what they ask in pre-construction. I'm going to continue and look what happens. You must select, oh, sorry. Did I select it? Yeah, good. Okay, let's go back on it. Initial pages. And then Celeste, the agreement to lease. See, it gives me the all 5 pages, you see? And then where I want it. Bottom of document, align center, continue. And look what happens. One there, one there, one there, one there. So that's a great tool, again, if we have a lengthy document, like a pre-construction document, or any other document that requires an initial for each page. Okay? Again, I'll show you how I'm going to remove it. So if I made a mistake on this one, I don't need the initial. I click on it. There's a little garbage bin over there. See that? It disappears. Then I go up, click on that again, disappear. Again, disappear. So let's make sure that when we're positioning them, we know where we're positioning them. And if we make a mistake on 1 or 2, that's great. On all, we can't just go back in and remove it. Okay? So again, on this tab here, we also have the little note feature, see, radio buttons. Again, we're pinpointing places where we will already be placing our initials and signatures. It is a good feature to have, but it's really just gonna confuse us, okay? And then over here, single line text box. You need to drag it. However, because our client has called us and said they wanna offer 2,000, we're gonna concentrate on sign here and initial. That's it, but we need to make a change. So we click on markup, okay? You have all these features. You can add a circle, you can add a square, you can highlight it, you can slash it. What you're going to be doing is grabbing a box, covering your old price, crossing it off, and adding a new box. Nothing has changed in real estate because we have electronic signatures. We can't wipe out what is on there. I've had many realtors say to me, I'm using this in white and I just cross it over. Wrong. Wrong. In negotiations, and 7 years down the road from that agreement that sounded all great, lots can happen. And the only reason why you will remember what went on is based on what you see on that document. The evidence will be there. We don't white out anything.
But Celeste, you had said before you sent it out, you decided to go with 2,000.
You didn't send it out yet. You already went, right.
So
I'm gonna make the change and I'll show you how to make the changes.
but you wouldn't leave whatever price you got on there and put 2,000 on. You have 100%.
That's right. So I'm going to make the change. Just look, if I had it in my hands, I'd
Yeah.
cross off and put
So you can
2,000.
wipe that out.
So I'm gonna do that. No whiteout. This feature here is great if you wanna highlight a certain area of a document. But when realtors say to me, I just click on white and I white it out, absolutely wrong. Nothing changed with electronic signatures. We still need to prove any form of negotiation that has gone on and what we've done, okay?
But we haven't negotiated yet.
No. So initially, I spoke to my client. My client said, Celeste, you know what, I want to offer 1,900, not one dime more. And I said, okay, perfect, John. Think about it, because those units are going for 2,100. It would be fair to be at 2,000. While I'm putting in his name and I got the offer ready, he calls me and says, okay, Celeste, you know what, I thought about it. Let's do 2,000. I'm already in Authentisign, ready to send the document. I'm not going to go back into web forms, make the change, download it again, add this. I have my tools to make the changes here, right before having him sign it.
It's like if we already have the offer in the card now.
Right.
So what are you gonna do next?
I'll show you. So I'm going to grab, see this T over here? It's a little text box, okay? And I'm going to bring it where the price is. If it comes with me. Okay. You see? So I'm going to position it over what needs to be removed, okay? And you will see here, there's a blue, lighter blue box around it. That tells you where you're typing. You're not able to really see it clear here, but you're going to see in this blue large box, a lighter blue box around it, okay? Because it gives you your margins of where you're typing, okay? So right now, I'm going into this box. I'm not whiting out. I'm just gonna do like I would, you see? As if I was crossing out for another client. Now you don't wanna use the lines, you can use X's, okay? You wanna use O's or however you would cross off your offer, ideally that's what you would be doing. I prefer these because again, it's crossed off but you still see what's under, okay? So now I'm gonna have to change this to 2,000. So again, I'm gonna grab another text box, click on it, click where I need it, open it up, okay? And right on top of this, I'm going to write 2,000. There you go. So that the other realtor is also seeing that maybe we started off at 1,900, my client went to 2,000. If it was vice versa, go back to MLS, okay? But if it's going up, keep it like that, okay? So I have to change the wording of it as well. Again, for some it could be a challenge. It's a matter of getting used to it. Again, pick up my text box, going to position it, bring it where it's needed, bring it there, and it's not positioned properly. You see? I can make it slightly smaller, bring it down, and be able to type.
Can you do it all in one box, like longer box?
You could, right? I'm just showing you so you also get a hang of how you're gonna do a step by step. But I could do this, right? No problem. Go right next to it and write $2,000. Okay? So we've made a change all in one. I always separate them, but that's just the way I've gotten used to it. Then you'll be personalizing it on how you please, okay? So you've made this change. Now we're gonna go back to our initials. This is, I'm just gonna go over these last features with you. If you wanna zoom the document and you're not seeing it, if you wanna work on a certain page, it'll bring you right there. The layout, if you want it landscape or portrait, and then other options are here. Clear, exit, save changes, print or download. Standard, just like using any other tool, okay? So right now, I'm going to have to place my client's signature, okay? But it's still on me, so I have to change it. Click here, go to John Smith, click on my drag drop box, and I need the initial. I have to initial the changes, and I have to initial the actual page of the document. So I'm going to drag the initial here to my one change, the initial here to my second change, and I'm going to go down, drag my other client's initial here, right, and positioning. Then I'm going to go down, grab another initial there. Then I'm going down again. I need the signature. So this is a great part of it. I'm going to drag John's signature here, okay? So John is on the line right there. Sorry, go ahead. Questions? Yeah.
Well, I honestly thought they signed it, but they're not. They click. They just click.
It's a click, it's a finger.
So does that JS come from the actual database?
Yes, and I'll
John
show
Smith?
you, right, and I'll show you what they're going to see when they receive it. That's why I sent it to my email. They have the option to pick the font or draw it with their finger. Tell them not to draw it. It really is, it's gonna look messy because none of them are always gonna be the same. But they have the option. So I'll show you what comes up based on what we put in. That's why it's important to complete those 4 steps properly. Because once you set them, it's just easy, okay? So now this signature doesn't have a date. It will. Under the signature, you'll see a little squished up bunch of letters that are not readable. And for offer purposes and clarity purposes, it's always great to have a visible date, and with confirmation of acceptance, also a time, okay? So I'm going to click on my signature that I positioned, click on the settings tab here. You see that? And look what comes up. Flip vertical, flip horizontal, based on the shape and the size I need. Add date stamp, add time stamp, add name block, change signer. These are great options. What I mean is add a date stamp.
Or you can use that one.
Right. Or you can click here and add a timestamp. So when did your client get the package? 8 o'clock. When did he really accept it? 8:49. It was revocable until 9 o'clock. Your client is safe because you've put this in. Automatically, it will generate under the signature a GMT, EST, time, blah, 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 blah. Make it simple for yourself and your client. Position your time, position your date. Okay? That's the best way to do it.
Sorry.
Yes,
Who links? Yeah.
we
Is it
add,
automatically?
we add the position of what is required. Once your client clicks, well, the date and time, based on really date and time, right? So it has nothing to do with what, if your client has 2 p.m. on its computer and it's 8 p.m., it's like a GPS, right?
So if the client is overseas.
Overseas, it's still your local time, okay? Because it's your local time. You're dealing with a Canadian program. He can be in Africa. It's a Canadian program, okay? So again, we're going to go down, and the acknowledgement won't sign until he gets it. I've seen worse. But now we're at the commission trust agreement. So me as a, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, I just had a question. You mentioned like if someone was in Africa, whatever, let's say timestamp.
Right.
We have.
It's our timestamp.
So it doesn't matter what time they're on.
No.
It'll be
It is our time.
in alignment
The
with
program
ours.
is running, it's a Canadian app, so it'll run on what time you're actually getting that stamp on your document.
Perfect. I wanna
right?
make sure.
And I'll show you why also when we get it back, because you can view the history and see what time Celeste signed, what time I opened it, what time I reviewed it, what time I signed it. Okay, so commission trust agreement, okay? I need to sign it as the cooperating brokerage. I'm going to switch my name at the top here, drag my signature. If I want to add the date, I can add the date. If I want to add the time, I can add the time. I don't think any of us add date and time on commission trust agreement, okay? So then I'm gonna go down to my Schedule A, change back to my tenant, okay? I'm going to drag my initial.
Yes.
Again, my Schedule A, grab the initial. Okay, so now it seems like I've pretty much placed all the signatures and initials required. I'm going to take a look at it again. I have my initial there, my signature personally there, okay? Then I have another signature here is my client, time, date. I have his initial here. I have his initial here. Another initial there on the changes. I've dated it, got everything uploaded. It's ready to go. Okay? Now that it's ready to go, I click on next. Okay? And it says finalize signing setup. A lot of realtors call me and say, Celeste, I sent it, but I just have this message and my clients didn't get it. Well, if you read it, it says you have successfully completed the creation of this signing. Note, to change the email address of a signing participant or to customize the invitation email subject line or message before the invitations are sent, select the customize button below. Otherwise, select the send button. Unless you're customizing your email with that document you're sending, you just have to click on send invitations. If you don't click on send invitations, you'll be waiting and your client will be waiting for nothing because it's not going anywhere. Okay, so if you click on send invitations, that's when it will say the Authentisign invitations were successfully sent. For many of you that have, and you click OK, and this is your dashboard. Okay, so before touching the dashboard, how many of you use DocuSign? As a user, once you set yourself in as signing, when it sends out the package, it will ask you, do you want to sign the document now? Authentisign doesn't have this feature. So I'm going to give you the good and the bad differences. Authentisign doesn't have this feature. You're always going to have to access your email to actually see what's in the signing package. You're not able to sign it right from the dashboard, unlike DocuSign. Okay? Right now, when I clicked send and it went out, it redirected me to my dashboard. Now see, all my other signing packages have been approved, taken care of, old news. I have this package that I sent out that's in progress, which means I've sent it out, I'm waiting for it to come back. And if I click on it, this is my dashboard where it says the name, signing participants, again Celeste, then we have John, and right over here, type is signing. If it was reviewing, only read, they would have a book, okay? But this is a signing. We know that both of them have to sign here. Right now, Celeste hasn't authenticated it, nor has John, nor has Celeste signed it, John signed it, nor Celeste, okay? Because they have to look into their email. So me as the realtor, I'm gonna access my email. So we first going to add my email, get into it. Okay, and there we go. Now, because I'm using the administrator one, it comes up as Desiree. But you would be seeing that you sent yourself an Authentisign package, okay? So Jim sent Jim a package to sign as the realtor, okay? So again, attention Celeste, this email is an invitation to participate as a signing party in an Authentisign e-signature document. The information, the name, like I said before, don't use your own nicknames because they come up. And then click the image below to get started, okay? If you don't see the image below, just like any program, you would have to click to download. However, if we click here, I'm not a robot.
Are you sure?
I'm trying not to be. Okay. And there we go. So whether it's yourself or your client, you will always come up with this option, okay? Based on what you've put in, Authentisign will encarve a signature type for you. If you don't like it, you have two options. Draw your signature, which then you would have to draw it, or select font style. You know what? I always just accept what I'm given in this case, okay? It's not me really me writing, and I can't deny it down the road because it is tracked. So just take what it's giving you. I mean, it's clear and it's readable, okay? And at the bottom here, it says, by clicking accept, you agree to the consumer consent disclosure. Your clients will ask you what this is. Again, they have to give consent every single package that you send them. Even if you do 5 deals in 3 years, they always have to accept the disclosure where they're consenting that you put in their information and that there is an electronic communication for any purpose, okay? And then they can print, download the agreement between parties. So you've already accepted it because you're an authorized user of Authentisign. When you sign in the first time, you accept. Your client accepting can download the disclosure, okay? So they saw the signature, they read the disclosure, great, they accept it. You can click do not display again, and that will come up as well if any future issues do arise, okay? And you click accept. So now Celeste accepted. I don't see anything, so I'm kind of like, oh gosh, where do I have to sign, right? I go here and I click start, and look what it does. It brings me where the signature was positioned. So I don't have to go look for it, okay? So I'm going to click, and because it was one signature for me, it gives me 3 options: complete signing, stay in review, or reset. But you see, automatically, once I've clicked on that signature and that acceptance of the disclosure, look what came up here. This is a transaction ID for the document. 7 years down the road from now, Rico and Treb will be able to track what happened with this document, how it was set, how the communication went. It's all there. That's an ID number, and it is Rico and Treb compliant, okay? So I've completed my signing. I'm happy with what I know, and I can complete it. If I want to stay in review, I can stay in review and look at my signature. It's there. And then I can say, okay, hold on, I've signed, but I'm confused. I've got to go read something else, or let me check 2000, that's perfect. Okay, you know what? Looks good to me. I'm going to press complete. And I click on complete signing. Automatically, it gives me the option of a password. This is for your client's personal use, which means now that they've signed, they're going to get a copy of that document in their email. They can set it so that they have a password to that document. So if any other person has access to their email, they don't have access to this document. Now, how many times will your clients be using it? I don't know. Personally, I don't use it, but they could set a password, okay? So I'm going to click on no thanks because I'm not adding a password to the document. And this is what it does. I've successfully completed the portion of Authentisign. This is the ID number of the document. And then, of course, it says click here to access the signing process dashboard displaying the progress of the current Authentisign progress. Okay? You can see if others are signing it as well. However, I am going to kick myself out of here, okay? And now go back to my dashboard. So as the realtor, I've signed it. I'm the first one, I've signed it. So now, if I refresh this, okay, and I go back on it, look what it does. It tells me that Celeste had the signing package, authenticated it, and signed it. These flags mean that they've been successfully signed. Okay? So now I'm waiting for Celeste, John, on the other email. So again, this is your client, John. Okay? I'm going to add my account. Log in. Yes.
doing the offer,
Yes.
can you sign it before you send your client, or it has to be emailed to yourself and you sign it?
You can sign it.
You can set your signatures,
Okay,
but it won't let you sign it right away. It'll always send it to your email. That's what I was saying, the difference between who's using DocuSign. When you use DocuSign, I know because I used it for a year. When you use DocuSign and you set yourself as a first signer, okay, and you send that document off, automatically in DocuSign, it will say, do you want to sign the document now? Because you're the user and you're sending it out, okay? With Authentisign, it goes to your email. You always
Yeah,
have
so
to
the
access
direct
your
access.
email. Yes.
But I think what he's trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is say you got emailed the offer from Brenda, you print it, you sign it in pen, is that what you mean? And then you upload it and put it in for your
No,
client?
actually.
You would say,
Oh,
because for them that are using DocuSign, this is a question that has come up many times. Why can't I sign it right away from the dashboard? It won't allow me. Okay, it'll always have to have a destination so that it's all tracked. Okay,
Excuse me,
Yes.
I have a question.
yes,
And is that signature, is your like electronic signature?
yes,
And it's acceptable by,
yes, it is, because it's timestamped.
because it
You've
needs
ex-
to be your actual signature?
No, because you've accepted a disclosure of that disclosure saying you are acknowledging that this is an electronic program, you are signing a document sent to you electronically, and these are disclosures as your rights in terms of electronic signatures. You can download that, print it, but you do have to accept or else you won't move forward. Okay, so it is accepted as a signature drawn because you accept the disclosure.
And another question?
Yes.
Can you change the format, or it has to be just like one time, or?
No, you can change it. Every time you'll get a signing package, yourself as well, you'll always have the option to keep the standard, change the font, or draw your own. You'll always have that option. Again, as realtors, it's suggested to get used to one and use that, right? Just for professional purposes. How many of us have different signatures throughout? I don't.
I'm still skeptical. No, I really am, because honestly, what I
Jesus, Thomas.
No,
It's
I-
okay,
it-
it's
it-
normal,
it-
Jane,
it-
because
no,
you
no,
will,
but the thing is, the buyer agent.
Right.
I don't know for sure that he's actually sent it to his buyer.
but
or
that's
his
not your
partner.
responsibility.
I know, but it could come back, it can come back.
It can happen live too. How many times have we heard, really, especially in the hot market, that potential buyer that signed the offer for 200,000 over asking was really in China?
Exactly, you don't know.
And it was handwritten. We
Wow.
can't say, we can only entrust the people we work with and take our own responsibilities, right? At the end of the day, if your client, seller or landlord accepts an offer from that potential buyer
And it wasn't legit.
represented by that realtor, and something happens and it doesn't go through, it's their responsibility, not yours. You can only communicate with the realtor and entrust what the realtor sends to you in writing. And if they're submitting an offer on behalf of their client, they're representing their client, that's none of your responsibility. And I know it sounds, really, it's hard to digest, but nowadays, we get names from realtors. What brokerage are you in? 123 Fund. What's 123 Fund? It's a brokerage and I'm licensed, so I'm sending you an offer. You have to trust them. We don't know each other anymore. And with these tools, you're gonna know each other even less.
But you know what, though, it's actually better because there's that,
Right.
that's right, there's an address that is attached to it, and our governing bodies at any time can go take a look at these documents.
Right. So
It's actually better in my.
it's all TREB and RICO compliant. All other electronic programs that are out there and that you don't find in the web forms, they're not TREB and RICO compliant. So that's why I brought you to that page initially, so you could see what was actually available for you through TREB. Authentisign is free of charge.
Email address to sign.
Right, right. There's an email address, there's an IP address, there's a transaction number given. It's complete in that sense.
Nobody has to review all these.
Right.
So I used DocuSign for a year, however long it was running.
Right.
So what happens to all those documents? Can I still access them? Because I'm no longer.
You should download them. Really?
Not a member anymore.
Buy a nice hard drive. Oh, you've
Oh.
already, it's already
Was
expired?
it through the office
Um,
that you became a member?
I guess it's some through link of the office, yeah. I guess,
Okay, so I can reactivate your account,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can log in, all your documents will still be there.
Oh, yeah.
Download them and then let me know once it's done, because they'll give you 2-3
Shut down,
days
right.
without charging,
Oh, yeah.
and then I have to
Even though my membership is expired.
yes.
It's already
Yeah.
expired, yeah.
Good.
Okay,
As long as it was an office account.
if it's out of office, you have to call them.
Because they had a special deals on that.
Yeah, then
Yes.
that's the
Really.
one. Right. Okay,
Celeste?
yes.
If the agent's initials are the same as the buyer's initials,
Okay, so this is the way it's gonna work, okay? It could be Celeste, CP, and then it could be, I don't know, like Carly Proctor, okay? The one thing that will differentiate them, and that's again up to you, is the revision of the document that you will get once they sign, and then suggest to either one of them to accept a different font, okay? Based on the fonts of the initials, when you'll see the signature, then you'll be able to reconnect. But if I finish signing this, I'll show you also how you can kind of figure that out, okay? So click here to sign. Now this is your client, again, not a robot. Preparing the 5-page document with 9 signing blocks. So this is it. So let's say CP and JS were the same. Then I would select a different font and make my life easier, okay? By doing this, see? However, we're gonna keep it. I'm gonna pick this one, save, and look how it changes, you see? I'm going to accept. I'm going to click on start. I'm gonna start signing. And it's gonna tell me where I have to go. See, that's why I meant it doesn't need all those X's and check marks, because it will bring me down. It brings me down, you see? Now again, I've completed. If I stay in review and I go back up, look what I see. I see John, the time, the date. Now, I positioned it really quickly. You can work on the positioning, okay? You become better as you go, okay? So I've completed it, looks good to me. Change was made. Click on complete, complete signing. No thanks, I don't want a password. Now, this is us as realtors. We're waiting. Signed package has to come back. Have you signed it? Yeah, I've signed it. Okay, I don't see it. Okay. We go back onto our package. We refresh. Okay, I'll close that one. All right. We go here, refresh, click on that, and look what it says. It says that all parties have authenticated and signed it. Okay, so it is, yeah.
When they say authenticated, who's the voter?
That they've authenticated it by accepting the disclosure. So you're authenticating, you're actually agreeing to that disclosure, to that signing package, okay? Then I want to see the original document that I sent out with no signatures. And then I can see when Celeste signed first, what it looks like. So if it comes up, it'll be helpful. So look, I only see Celeste because it's a one signature. I only see her, where did it go? I just passed it. There you go. So there's Celeste. And you see that little time, date, all that information never comes out properly. I don't know why. It's actually showing right now 10:13 p.m. It's not. So let's position our signatures and our dates and our times, because this will save us headaches. Okay? So I can see where Celeste signed, and if another CP signed after that, then I can see revision 2 of what the other document looks like and what the other signature looks like. And I can print them both and download them for my own sake. Okay? And the time will tell as well. Because 2:20 p.m. this time, John. I can print revision 1, revision 2 for my sake and send ultimately, and I'll show you, and send out my final document over here. Clicking on it, I have all signatures here. But for my own sake, I have revision 1 and 2 of what Celeste signed and what another Celeste signed. Okay, so this is my final document. They've completed it. I've signed it as a realtor, my client signed it as the client. It's ready to be sent off. I have the option, go ahead, Dave.
Quick question, in regards to that timestamp, the fact that when their timestamp read at different times, is
Right.
that their clock was not set properly on their computer? or-
Sometimes, and I'll tell you, that's why I always encourage to put in time and date. I always encourage you to do that because it's an electronic program. There could be a glitch. And could you imagine on an acceptance of an offer?
Yeah, it goes beyond
Right?
the
So-
reversibility.
The reason why is because the time will always be kind of messed up and we don't know why. It could come out as a good time, others it won't. So it really, it's a click for us to add a date and a timestamp. Okay,
Even though the time is wrong.
our time will never be wrong if we're adding it.
But
It's
their-
that automatically generated time that will be incorrect. Okay,
So what ensures that our time is going to be correct?
because it's timestamped at the moment. So once they're accepting, once they're doing it, it is correct. Whatever is happening in the system for Authentisign, we don't know, our time is correct. And you're only able to verify it. That's the good thing. And it's not in a format where, I'll show you.
What time did that say?
This one said the right time,
What time did the time?
10:12. See, instead this one here says 2:20, 2:20.
Yeah.
So it's a give or take. But to save yourself any headaches, put it yourself, put the date, you're good to go.
So you manually insert it? yourself?
Yes. So, oh, you missed that. Did you miss it?
What do you mean, when you put it-
When you put the name and I showed you how to click on the name, go to the setting time, add date and add time, you're setting your own for your client, for that specific signature,
Yeah.
right? This, what we see here is automatically generated. This is what you've set for this signature. So once you position the signature, you click on it, click on the settings tab, add date, add time. And we're all safe. And of course, we're going to do this for signatures, not for initials.
So I guess with everything electronic now, the witness part. is
Does
just
not,
like
is
blank.
not required. That's also a good question. My apologies for not covering it. Guys, we don't witness for our clients electronic signing. There's a disclosure, there's a contract, we don't witness it. That's actually a good question. I missed out that part. We don't witness. There is no need to, okay? It can easily be tracked and traced. Again, you're skeptical about that and I do understand it. But
No,
ultimately-
I know that, I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't witness something you don't really see.
further to that, but we are looking at it and we are seeing that we're sending it. However, we're not witnessing that that signature is there. So no, we do not witness for electronic signatures.
I know what Ann's saying.
Yeah, I know what she's saying, is that you would only witness if you see the signature. And it's still like that today. So electronic signatures hasn't changed anything.
Regarding the date, so you said that the date.
Yeah.
But there's another date that comes up.
Right, so this is the thing.
So if there's two different dates, the one you said. and the
This
that
one
comes
will
up,
always be the correct one.
This is the one
You
that will
put this
come.
in here. This will not be able to come up unless they sign it. So even if they're going to do a review and say, well, how did you come up with that date? Well, that date's not coming unless he signs, right? So it's all attached to that.
Could you please let me know again, how is possible somebody else has my email address? But how we can be sure that right person opening that?
Okay, so you're going to communicate with your client, right? Your client will say to you, okay, send it to me at this address. You're going to send it to your client's email address. Now, again, there's only a certain part of responsibility that we can take because once your client has signed that document, you'll be notified. But your client will send you a text message saying, hey, I signed it. Hey, I just completed it. Can you check if it came back to you? You still have to communicate with your client, even though it's electronic. Because if you get the document signed back, then you send a text message to your client or call him and say, hey, I just got it, everything okay? And if he says I didn't sign it, then it wasn't him, right? We still have to keep our procedure. It's just the tools that can make our process easier. That's what we're gonna use. But we're still realtors here. We're not robots, right? It's true. So We're gonna continue with the way we used to. We will communicate, but we will make it easier for this process here. Okay? Yes.
About the time, is it mandatory that we have to put the time or optional?
It is highly suggested, but on a confirmation of acceptance, on an acknowledgement, yeah, you need data. Confirmation of acceptance, if you don't have that time in there, really, I could fight that offer. I can fight it. If I don't see, right.
On that.
On here, I put it for the purpose of showing you. Here, it would suffice to have the signature and the date, right? But on a confirmation of acceptance, the reason why I showed you, yes, absolutely,
Yes, I know.
absolutely, right? So it's good to get into the habit of having it. It's always clarifying, because it's electronic, you won't remember 2 years down the road what happened. Okay?
What if you're well within your time, like, you still, let's say you have it till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you've got it signed, but you didn't put in the hours that you're supposed to, but you're well within the time to send out an email, you still have a copy of the email that you sent out.
Of course. You'll always have a trace of what happened here, who signed at what time. The revisions will tell you, and they're somehow time-stamped, right?
But this is just an extra.
Right, and that's always that extra step. Why? Because it's electronic, and we're going to protect ourselves, let's be realistic, before even our clients. We have to make sure that we're doing our job diligently before handing it off to a client. Because the clients will say it's the realtor's fault in the negative things. In the good things, they'll say it was my house worth millions of dollars, right? So either or, I mean, just protect yourself. Let's keep that in mind. Okay, so this is my final document. I'm ready to send it off. I can upload it directly to an email, okay, and it would give me the option. If I click on that, Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, or Box, or I can view it as a PDF. Who had asked me before about PDF? There you go. You view it as a PDF, okay? So it's all time-stamped. The document's ready to go. You can download it, print it, and send it off, okay? It seems like a lot of things have been covered, but really your job is done here, okay? You've completed a signing package. You've added all the information, you verified it, your client has signed it, you're really ready to sign it, send it off. I know it seems like there's a lot of steps, but once you start getting used to it and working on it, it'll just come easier to you. Okay.
You don't need to scan it.
You don't need to scan it, you don't need to print it realistically. How many of you are printing offers, right, and then faxing them or scanning them? I think there's very few. Overall, I can see from my experience, it's a constant email. Even like, no, the offer's not accepted. Okay, put it in an email. Why? Because we need to have these things in writing, because that's how we're communicating, right? Before it was meet me at the property, 6 o'clock, we'll discuss, maybe your sellers will speak to my buyers. Now it's like, you know what, give me what I'm looking for. I want the amount, I want this, and let's just get it done. I know, it's hard.
Every buyer agent asks Jane and I, well, what's it gonna take to get that property?
What's it going
No,
what's
no,
it
no,
going
but
to
I'm
take to
just
take
saying,
the property?
So, but like, you're saying here, I like when the buyer.
We're gonna get that whether it's electronic or not, right? You're always gonna have someone say to you, really, like, how far does your client wanna go? Or come on, we're realtors, let's help each other. How much do they want? Again, it's up to our knowledge, our ethics, our professionalism to be able to understand what answers we should be giving and which ones we shouldn't, right? And that's not gonna affect electronic signatures. You're not adding any information or removing it. This has nothing to do with it. That's in the negotiation process where we're all under the assumption we've already discussed what the conditions will be and what the offer will look like, and it's ready to be signed.
Now, if you were signing that back, say you wanted 21.
You'd have to upload it again to Authentisign and create your little signing package. Okay? So, let's say your client calls you, says, no, I signed it. Yeah,
And is it okay with lawyers and financial?
absolutely, absolutely. Any
Signature is different, sometimes.
right, so any electronic signature program that provides a legality, I'm saying in real estate, and every field has their own, trust me, that provides a timestamp with an IP address and a transaction number is something that can legally be traced. So the lawyer, again, will say, you're my client, you brought me the deal. I'm entrusting that you accepted to electronically sign it. You want to bring me the disclosures, even better. It's a done deal. Legally, this is legal. What we're doing here is all legal. And it's actually highly recommended by the legal bodies to proceed in this direction, to make our business, improve our business. And it will over time, because really there's times we're stuck in things and it's just like, I can't get there. Oh, let me call someone that can do it for me. And then maybe a whole other can of worms will open up. As long as you maintain your relationship and your communication with your client, this is actually, it becomes a plus to your business. Okay? Again, up to us to decide. Someone who is, you know, an elderly person that does not have a computer, you're not even going to bring them here, right? You're just going to say, hey, you know, I'm coming by. What do you want? Coffee? You want some tea? Like, really, right? It's a matter of, that's our logic, right? Who knows who we're dealing with. But if you have a 20-year-old that's like, hey, you know what? I'm busy. I'm at work. I'm on my shift. Just send it to me. I'll sign it off. This is the best tool. And anyone, really, even myself now, I don't know how to operate anymore, right? If I have to come and think that at 7 o'clock at night, I'm going to have you sign a lease, we'll discuss it as long as you want. We can sit together the day before. I'll show you everything. We can talk on the phone. But when it comes to signing, I'm going to send it off. And if you have questions, call me. Because I know who I'm dealing with. If it's, like I said, someone that really is not tech savvy, don't go there. It's useless, right? So we've completed this. It's all ready. We've downloaded it. We've sent it off. You can see here that this is approved, okay? Going back to what I was saying before about the features of Authentisign, it's a final part of this session that I do want to walk you through. However, how many times you will be utilizing it, I don't know. Okay, entirely up to you. But Instinet forms. Instinet forms are MLS. Yes.
Sorry, before you got the wording,
Yeah.
you're gonna do a sign back.
You want to do a sign back to,
Yeah,
you want to,
the lady was
well, so you
asking-
want to correct it again? Do you want to
the lady
redo
was
that?
asking, what if there's a change? All of a sudden they wanted to change and add like another.
So you upload your document again. You go to your home page, you go to your dashboard, you start signing the same way we set it up. Sign
So you're
back,
creating a new.
right? Sign back.
Oh, so you can't use the existing and.
You won't be able to reopen it and readdress it. Again, this is another feature that you'll find in other programs. Here, each signing package has its number, its ID. When it's completed, start a new one and name it sign back or change.
Even for dollar value. like
Yes,
sign back.
that's why it's always good to do it, and when you catch it on time, you catch it at the moment. And if you're sending it off to your client, okay, and your client says, oh, hold on, you've already sent it off, but you haven't made the change, and he says, hold on, you can reset it. You can always reset it. So I'll bring you to the signing page, okay? And there's a little tab here when you're on it that allows you to reset it. Because it's been approved, you can't do that. But if you click, there's a circle here that says reset, you can reset it. So automatically what has gone to your client is null and void. It comes back to you, you make your changes and reset it. Okay? But once it's signed and approved and your client has another change in mind, you have to restart the package.
So, let me see if I understand, sorry.
No, absolutely. I'm here for this.
If you made a package, you sent it forward, but they haven't accepted it yet, or they haven't verified,
Right.
then
You can still
you
change
still
it.
Change it.
Right.
Undo it, and then make your changes, resend it back to them. This is before you send it off.
No, this is even after you sent it off.
No,
I'll show you.
I mean, sorry.
It's
not
before
sent it
they
off,
sign it.
Before they sign it.
Right.
Before they sign it.
So while you sent it off, if they're not fine with what's in there, and they say, hold on, make a change to this clause. I don't want 5 days of financing. I want 10. You click the reset. It's a little circle. You can't go wrong. It's there. On the package, if I would click here,
But that's a change before it's sent over, not necessarily, not creating a new document like.
that's a change, right? If you got the offer back, okay, another scenario, you get the offer back, you send it to the agent, and he says, listen, tell your client it's a no-fly. He's really got to come up with more money. You're going to upload the document again and redo the signing with the changes. Okay? Over here, if,
Even though the other party give us a sign back, for example, instead of 2,000, they say, okay, this is a sign back, 2,100.
right, so then you would download it because you'd either be receiving it with an email or a fax. So if you get it, you scan it to yourself. If you get it through an email, download it from your email and upload it into a signing package and position your client's initials. There's
You
document,
don't need to create.
No.
No.
you would go back in, start your signing package, start the name, sign back, upload the document, and have those initials placed where the changes are.
So you're starting a new package?
Yes, if it's a sign back, so you get the sign back from the agent, changing again the offer, you start a package and you would call it sign back.
Even though you accept it, or even though you doesn't back again.
Right, that's correct, okay? So we're gonna treat it the same way we always do. We're just gonna have a different method. It's not pen to paper, it's placing the signature where it's needed. Okay? I tried to be as, let's say, quick and detailed as possible because there's a lot of features here that will confuse you. That's why I'm concentrating only on this part here, which is your signing, because that's what everyone is looking for. How many of you are really looking forward to creating a database and transaction in there? I'm not sure. It could be over time you like it and you will start utilizing it like that. But really what we need to know right now is how to get it signed, right? And how to get through the electronic signatures. When I say you can reach out to me to practice, please do so. I have many realtors that send me documents daily. And if you don't practice, whatever I told you now will be lost in a week of time.
Once it's electronic, it has to be finished electronic.
No.
Well, you can mix it, you can like get a printout and do like
Absolutely.
manually.
If your client was in Florida Saturday and you sent him an offer and he's the seller and he sends it back to you and says, I want these changes, you do the changes, but then on Monday he's in Toronto and you're meeting up with him, he can sign an acceptance manually. He can make the change manually. Everything is tracked. As long as you have your ducks in a row and everything is organized and you download and keep somehow your revisions in your packages, you're safe. This is all, like I said, legal. Timestamp, date stamped, with an ID number, with an IP address. We're really safe. And Trev gave it to us and said, this is your tool, free of charge, utilize it. Yeah.
Let's say as a listing agent,
Yes.
I receive this, and I'm going to do the same for my client.
Right.
Can I upload it from my
Absolutely.
computer and do this for
Yes.
my client as a seller?
Yes.
Okay.
How you operate with your client and how I operate with mine and Vafa with hers has really nothing to do with this program. If I could be using Authentisign, you could be using DocuSign. Ultimately, it's our method of what and how we want to choose it, and we discuss it with our clients. If it's multiple representation, we would still treat it the same, but the signatures are positioned as per legalities, as per contracts. We're not going to get two signatures on a confirmation of cooperation. This is not changing real estate law. This is only helping you with tools on how to improve it.
Two questions. Assume that we have a joint venture, we have two different persons,
Uh-huh.
both married,
Yes.
we need the spouse confirmation too. So we need to set up 4 email on this
Yes.
and send it for 4 separate people for signing.
Right.
And choose which one, where should they sign.
That's correct. Unless, and I'll share this, however, it's not recommended. Husband and wife have one email. Now, there's very few, but husband and wife have one email. You create a first one for the husband, send it off. And you upload and start a new signing package for the wife and send it off. It will not allow you within one signing package to have 2 people on one email or 3 people on one email. There's 3 people, there's 3 emails.
That's why you sign it as an agent first, send it to yourself.
Right.
Then
That's correct. That's exactly the trail of it. There has to be a trail, and 2 people on one email does not guarantee anything for any party.
the second question, I missed the first part of it. How
Oh.
we can get to this program?
Okay.
Just with you.
Don't worry, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy to help. I just wish that I would be able to cover more things, but I'm gonna confuse So on March 11th, there is another session, but with Rick Peckman. And again, he'll guide you through other things, but my door is always open. And really, most of you have my email. Really, come to me because this is something that you will benefit from. And I accept, like really, I accept coffee, gift cards, anything. So my door is always open. All right, so Manny, to go backwards, LCBO, no, I don't drink. Could you imagine? A wop like me doesn't drink, right? No drinking. So coffee quantity, any time of day, coffee. Wine, if you really want to see me in action, then bring me wine, right? Because no, I don't drink. So we'll add this in. All right, so Manny, we're logging on to MLS. Like I said in the beginning, you can only utilize Authentisign free of charge if you're accessing it via MLS. Okay, so you would access your MLS dashboard, and to the right over here, you have Instinet. Okay, and here it goes. It brings you to your dashboard where you can create your start signing. So your signing package. Okay. Did you miss this part too? What time were you here, Manny? Okay. So I'm gonna go quickly through the web form part with you, but I'm gonna show you. Maybe you can come see me too, but okay. So. And gift cards. I tell you, gift cards. I can't accept cash because you probably want a receipt. I'm joking. I like to help out a part, and I am, part of the academy. We can help out on anything, so feel free to bug me, okay? Many, like I was saying, normally many realtors would access web forms first, create the offer that they require, okay? And then once it's created, let's say in our web forms, we can open it up, okay? And we do have the option of linking web forms to our Authentisign. Again, if we're going to do this, we click on go to App Store, but we have to be on the phone with Authentisign, that when you call in, you say, hi, I'm a TREB member with the Toronto Real Estate Board. My name is so-and-so, this is my TREB number, perfect. Here's your password. Because
Is the phone number at the bottom there?
no, you have to actually do Authentisign contact on Google.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you guys an email out telling you who to contact, okay? And then if you have an iPhone and you decide to pay the $69 a year, which you shouldn't, but anyway, up to you. It's called Transaction Desk in our app page. To look for it, again, only if you have an iPhone, okay? So you would click on link to allow web forms to go straight to your Authentisign. But unless Authentisign provides you a password, you can't link it, okay? So that would be your first option. Why? Because then if you go back to, your web forms, you can select your package and see how it says here, print, email, download, duplicate, delete. You would have a tab that says send to, and automatically it would send it to Authentisign. In this case here, okay, we're not linked. And this is also good if you're receiving a document that you had the office type for you, or you want to download it and save it to your computer. This is the best way to do it, okay? So I'm going to click on download, okay? And I'm going to pick what I want. So let's say this time I'm going to pick the confirmation of cooperation, okay? So I select what I want, download read only, always suggested, and I'll click on that. Okay, so here's my document. They downloaded it from web forms. I have to save it to my computer to bring it to Authentisign. Okay, so I'm going to file, save as, and it saves as a PDF. My computer, desktop, that's where I want to save it, and I'm going to call it confirmation of cooperation, and I'm going to click save. Okay, so now I've worked in web forms, or I've received the offer that they've typed for me. I've sent it to myself. I've downloaded it, saved it to my computer. I'm going to be as quick as I can. Automatically, I go back to my home page because I don't have linked web forms and Authentisign. And I'm going to click on my incident. Okay? So this is my home page. I have to create a signing package, not a transaction. Disregard that whole portion of transactions. We don't do transactions, and that I can speak to you later about as well, okay? Then we click on Start Signing, because this is what we need. It's a signing package, electronic signatures, this is what we need. And we're gonna call it Test Menu. But usually, what you would call it is the property address. I keep on saying it so that you can always distinguish what package it is, okay? So then you would click Save, and it redirects you to a home page, okay, your dashboard page, which gives you 4 steps total of how to get the document prepared and ready to be electronically signed. So for many of you that I've been repeating, you can feel free to get up, okay? If you have to go, I understand, we're busy. Many of you stick around because you were late and now you stick around. Yes.
One question.
Any questions? So then you can come closer to me.
You had it electronically signed.
Yes.
Now you're negotiating in person. Do they have to sign again or just initial that final?
The change, let's say
They
change,
change the price or whatever.
they can sign manually.
No, but do we have to sign the contract again manually or
No.
just the initials?
Absolutely, only the initial. You're welcome, no problem, Sandra, thank you. So
Just
once you've got your initials put on there, your client has signed, then it goes back to the seller or the buyer. There's other
So
changes.
we're meeting up there. We're doing
So
it
you're
in
meeting.
person after.
Right, so
So
then,
it's- once it's signed electronically,
Right.
they don't have to sign the contract again.
no,
Just for
absolutely.
example, the price change.
Right, just any changes after the fact
Yeah.
need to be initialed and acknowledged.
Just
But
initial.
what was initially done is valid.
It's valid.
Also, they can, so in person, if they wanted to meet, and you're doing a presentation and typing things up, you can print the actual.
Electronic signature, have your client come with you, but you're going to present it like
And
that.
then basically just sign and scratch with the pen, even though it's been authenticated.
That's right. That's perfect. Because again, we're not changing the legality aspect of it. We're just having an extra tool for
Thanks so much,
ourselves.
Celeste. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Really, you all have the academy email. Please reach out to me. I'm always at the office, usually 8:30, 8:40 to 5:30. So please feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. No worries, no worries. Eddie, don't run away. Come here. We're here. Yes, I actually have them downstairs. Here, I'll actually give you my, do you have, where I can write? I'll write down my email.
I come here, but quick question.
Yeah.
So, doesn't need to have an
No.
If I have an
You upload it.
in or,
You upload
it
Yeah.
to the MLS in this.
Okay? And you come see me,
Yeah, sure.
okay?
Sure.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Celeste, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Do you have, sheet of paper? I'll grab it.
Right here.
I'll write, yes. Yes. Yeah, with Greg. Because right, he touched all the other features, which I'll have a remake. Because,
Yeah, it's good.
right, because what we need is that, we're not gonna do transactions, we don't do our administration office, right? So I'll give you the office extension, so that they transfer you straight over. Right, yeah. And I have access like day and night to my academy email, so you can take that as well. I don't have my cards with you, but I'll get you a sheet if you want. Yeah.
It was just when we were doing the offer, but
Right.
and we do this from scratch, so that's the icon of the listing.
Right.
That we can do it from scratch instead of going to web form.
You can even handwrite a whole offer and upload it for electronic signature.
No, I mean, can we do it from scratch?
On Authentisign, yes, I didn't put that part to you.
That's appreciated.
Z8, yes. Z8.
Do we have another class for that?
So on March 11th, you will be having Rick Heckman come in again, okay? The reason why, okay, so I've done a lot of Trev workshops, okay?
Is it hard?
I find that Trev is very confusing because of course, they're, sorry? Right, they, what they do Right, what they do is, yes, I'll give you, okay, I will, I'll send you, just a little note thanking everyone, and then I'll give you my information, my contact as well there. again,
Oh,
So
okay.
that everyone has it. Thank you so much, and really, reach out to me, Dick, if you need, just come to me and say, Celeste, I'm confused, my office is downstairs, so really, okay? Thank you, yes, let's stop. Well, you can, my email is the academy one, it's the best one to use, so I can give you, thank you,
Thank you,
info,
we talked.
info,
Oh,
at reacademy.ca. So when you go to Trev, they will touch all those features, that by the time you get to a signing package, your brain is like, hold on, no, this is too much for me.
Okay, one quick question.
Yes,
When this first came out, I
Yes.
called the Trev Health.
yes,
They got me the number for Authentisign.
yes.
I got on the phone with some lady for an hour. She set up a password for me and everything. What the hell was that all about?
Right, so what she did is she set up a signing pin for you, okay? You don't want that, because now every time you're gonna go access a signing package, what office are you at?
Woodbridge Avenue.
Right, so your signing pin will be the 6 digits, so 8326656.
So how,
Because it's based on how you're registered off of it. Maybe we can set up a time where I can access your Authentisign
okay,
quickly, even over the phone, and I'll go in and clear all that information, or
Okay.
should put it in your settings.
oh,
So that the first page that come up says acknowledge, even though it
Acknowledge it,
says.
right, JavaScript, security, cookies,
Yeah,
all,
but
yeah,
even though it says like subscription,
Yes.
it would be nothing paid.
nothing paid, because you're accessing it through MLS. Even if you download the app on your iPhone, you're not able to use it if you don't pay your $69. So keep it for free through MLS.
okay, so when I
Thank
go
you.
to use
You're
it the
welcome,
first
thank
time,
you.
it's gonna screw me up with a PIN number or
It
something?
might. Test it yourself, try to send me something, and if you're stuck, call me,
Okay.
okay?
Hopefully. So I think even if we brought our laptop, you would sit down, if I brought my laptop.
Absolutely. We set up.
Because that's
everything.
gonna be,
You're
that's the way I
welcome.
thought, actually Celeste, this should have been like that.
Right, but it was
If
too
you
intense
bring
for the
your,
first day.
everybody brings a
Right.
laptop, and I think it's gonna sync a little bit quicker, for me anyways, I'm not a computer person.
Right, for
They'll
the
find
first,
only,
right,
only gonna learn this through using it.
right.
Yes,
That's
and then
why
you're gonna
I
have to
encourage.
practice.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
another thing I did wanna
think
say,
for the first time, I'm gonna go make an offer right now
Right.
downstairs,
you can
and,
send it.
well, I like to send it up my own email at the moment, so that when I do get back, I'll be able to do it with my contact.
You can test it now and be easier, it'll be easier for you to,
I'm gonna figure it out very shortly.
okay?
Yeah.
But I'll do the next one I'll do a hands-on, where everyone's gonna be picking a partner
That-
and sending it to each other.
I think that's the right way to do it.
We'll do it like that.
Now, I don't have an iPhone, so I
But you don't
A
wanna use it
laptop.
on your phone,
You can't use it
really, and use it on your laptop, use it
Well,
on your tablet.
yeah, I know, I use it on my. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
You're not, it's
No.
a lot of people,
No,
a lot of
no,
realtors are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Same
you.
thing.
We've said stuff. Higher education, please. And we say no, it's no. I have.
And that's,
You see-
yeah,
you
you
see,
see, that's the part that unfortunately many realtors, and it'll always be that way, will, they will, yeah, they will damage our industry.
Yeah, oh, and that's what's gonna happen.
Very, very sad, but it's unfortunate, right?
I actually used Fall Tour first and then
But, and
DocuSign.
then we get other ones.
Funny, that's
that
how
are-
I started.
And, trust me, I did a deal, you know how things are spontaneous in this
Right.
business? Went and showed a property, lo and behold, what happens if people wanna buy it? So I hadn't used Authentisign, holy God, I went absolutely crazy, it was multiple offers all of a sudden, I was the buyer agent, there was another, blessed, holy God, I almost climbed the wall. I almost threw my computer right out the window, I could not figure out what the hell was going on, I did not know the naming, I knew what stuff was about, but there was just too much different.
Well, you know what, it is, it's articulated when you first look into it, because you're like, oh my God, what are all these icons, right? DocuSign is straightforward, so is the next one, it takes you step by step, because that's how I started with Fall Tour as well. I started training for Fall Tour, and now I'll be honest with you, I've used Fall Tour, I've used, DocuSign, I'm sold on Authentisign, because it gives me the same features but it is included in my Trev, and it is free of charge, but I do give Trev a lot of money, so do you. You pay our dues, and really we have access to a great MLS system, but any courses that are offered in Trev, they're payment. And so really, to have a feature on our own MLS account that is free of charge and that can facilitate this is fantastic.
So on this, you can't go in, like on DocuSign, you could go in directly, you didn't have to go to Authentisign,
Right.
you could go in directly.
Because this is their contract with Authentisign for you as a realtor.
Yeah.
If you want to access it, you could suspend your license tomorrow,
Right.
but still use Authentisign for other purposes.
Right.
That's when on a separate app, unlike DocuSign, you would have to purchase your licensing for $69 a year.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty fair
Yeah.
considering other prices, but still, that would be the case.
And finally, awkward go. The number of times I've turned and called the help desk, I say, I can't get in. They say, well, are you going through MLS? Oh, I forgot I had to go through MLS.
Only through
Yeah.
MLS.
You were phenomenal.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, how are you? Good, good.